Hey, how's it going, everybody? We are talking today about 25,000 miles in the Tesla. 25,000 miles. Looking back on 25,000 miles, throwing out a few things I love, a few things I hated, if anything, really. And then just my overall experience. I've had the opportunity to take it on road trips. I've had the opportunity to use a supercharger network, to use a third-party network, Electrify America and ChargePoint. Experience it charging with a 240 outlet at home, trying to charge with a trickle charge 110 outlet at home, and then kind of my experience either way. So sit back, relax. You guys are watching the Tall Tesla Guy. Getting right into it. Now, this is our second Tesla. Our first Tesla, we had about 10,000 miles on it when we sold it. And we took advantage of the used car market. We didn't need both vehicles at the time. And we went crazy with it. I mean, the car sold for way more than we paid for it. It was an opportunity we couldn't miss. And no sooner did I sell it than I placed an order for this one. It took about 6 months to get it, which I was fine with. We didn't need the second car at that point anyway. But in general, while I wasn't driving it, I had the opportunity to drive our gas vehicle. And I'll tell you that I miss the Tesla. I miss driving the Tesla. I miss the driving experience, the acceleration, the technology that's in it, the comfort care that they have with it, auto setting the temperature in the cabin, little things like that I missed that I didn't have with my gas vehicle. So we got our new Tesla. We got our new Tesla back in February. So it's been about 11 months now, I guess. And over the course of our first one and the second one, we have about 17,000 miles on this one, which is way more in the first year than I thought we would drive. But we've driven it quite a bit. Between this and the last one, we have over 25,000 miles on the car. But 25,000 miles over 3 years has given me the opportunity to really reflect on it and really think about what I like. And then I also get the same amount of questions from people, whether it's in comments below or I get them from family members. What's it like to own an EV? How's the charging working? And we're going to talk about that specifically today, and I'm going to kind of get into all of that. So jumping right into the first thing that everybody asks me, no matter what, who they are. Oh, you have a Tesla. Oh, you have an electric vehicle. Where do you charge it? Well, honestly, with a Tesla, you can charge it anywhere. Elon came out with the charging infrastructure of the superchargers, which is fantastic. It's a fast charging network that'll charge your car from, call it zero, but you never get to zero. So say 10%, all the way up to about 60%, 60 to 70% in about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Now, with the 350 kilowatt hour superchargers that are coming out, it's going to charge even faster, so sub 10 minutes. Honestly, though, in my experience, it's been a little bit more than that because I've tended to need more than 60%. I live in kind of a rural area now, and if I'm using a supercharger, more likely than not, it's not just to get to the next destination, but really to get there and be able to make it back to the supercharger. So I've had to charge to about 80%. So I plan on about 25 minutes or so to do that sort of charge. But honestly, though, I'm not doing it every day. I don't do it all the time, and I only do it on certain instances when I'm either on a road trip or when I've just used too much of the charge in the past few days. Now, that leads me to where I charge at home. Now, traditionally, I always ran a 240 outlet into my garage. If you saw that in the past, you saw my videos talking about it. A 240 outlet's going to give you about 30 miles of charge per hour that is plugged in, which is more than enough to to recoup the entire battery of the car in one night sitting. So say you happen to go crazy and drive all over the place one day, you plug it into your 240 at home, and it's going to give you the entire battery back the next day. So you come in with a fresh tank or a full tank of charge, if you will. Now, my current situation, I do not have a 240 in my garage, so this leads me to my first point of where you can charge a Tesla anywhere you want. I have a 110 outlet that happens to be the outlet that my garage door is plugged into that I plug in my Tesla. Now, a plug-in like that, a 110 outlet, is going to give you about 3 miles. Now, it happens to be a 20 amp fuse, so that gives me a little bit more power. I get about 5, maybe, at night anyway, per hour. Now, 3 miles per hour of recoup range is going to take you over 24 hours beyond that point to get it from, right now I'm at about 30%, to get from about 30% up to 80%, which is what I typically charge it to. So it's not ideal in situations like that, but honestly, it does fine. Now, in my current state, I happen to have been driving it a lot the last few days, looking at things, Christmas lights and such, and I used a lot of the battery. In fact, I was down to about 15% when I plugged in last night. It doesn't affect the car, even being cold, to be plugged in at that point. However, it takes longer to get back to where you need to be. Now, I was hoping to be closer to about 80%, as I usually am. However, plugging in all night, going from about 10% charge, it brought me to about 33%. Now, 33% is more than enough to get around the day. And if you start to think about it and do the calculations, the car has 330 miles of range. So 30% is going to give you about 90 miles. 90 miles is more than I'm going to drive today anyway. Now, I've got the heat on. It's cooler outside. Whatever. Am I driving too fast? All of those things come into account when you're figuring out how far you can drive your car. Now, I'll say the 110 outlet at home, the anywhere you want to charge situation, works great 95% of the time. It's only situations like this where I wish I had my 240, and better yet, I wish I was closer to a supercharger. Now, I am going to go to a supercharger today to top myself off so that I'm fine for the next few days in case we do some heavy driving during the day. But normally, I don't go to the supercharger unless I'm on a road trip, right? Now, that's a specialty thing with a Tesla. So when people ask me about how I like the vehicle, I love it. I love the drive, love the acceleration, love the space, love the storage, everything from the front to the trunk. But their question, if they didn't ask it first, or if that's what they actually meant, it's how do you charge it? How could I even get past going to a gas station? Well, that's how I do it. I charge it at home. There's a supercharger. In fact, there's 5 of them in my area that I live now, which is great. And then on top of that, if I'm ever going anywhere else, I bring a cord with me. I bring the charger with me. I can plug it in most places. Hotels usually have an outlet outside. Some of them even have destination chargers, which is fantastic. So the charging has never been a problem, never been an issue, even in my current situation. That's not ideal. So that leads me to my second thing. As you can see back here, we have a car seat. With a car seat, we have a toddler. She has a lot of stuff. That talks about the space in the car. It's amazing with this panoramic glass roof. But outside of just that, I have plenty of headroom, speaking of the roof. The next thing is going to be the storage between the trunk, the 2 sub-trunks I have back there, the 2 side wells, the front, where an engine would typically be in a normal gas vehicle, the side storage, under-seat storage. It's just amazing. I have cubbies for everything. Everything fits in there. Everything we need for potential like surprise park runs or let's go outside and play. We've got gloves and hats because it's snowing, stuff like that. Everything is in there. It's out of sight, out of mind. I can put it in the sub-trunk. I can still put a pill back there and put my oversized golden retriever back there. If you've seen my other videos, you know he sits in the back. He's more than enough space, and he is actually very large, over 100 pounds and tall enough to put his paws on my shoulder when he stands up, and I'm 6'5", so he's a large dog. He fits perfect back there, never had an issue. And then the technology, that leads me to the technology, not just talking about the acceleration of the drive, but the technology of the infotainment center. This is the center screen, the hub, the CPU of the car. It's all at your fingertips, in other words. And one of the cool things that they just incorporated in is dog mode. Dog mode is a super cool feature that allows you to set the temperature of the vehicle and leave an alert on the infotainment screen. So when you have your dog in your car, if you had to run into the store to get something, everybody around you knows that the temperature of the car is good and that you're coming back. You're not leaving your dog or neglecting your dog or anything like that. And I know that he is comfortable, whether it's really cold outside or more likely very warm outside in the summertime. Dog mode is a super, super cool feature. And with the holiday update that they just changed Tesla, there's actually a camera inside of the car that supposedly Tesla doesn't monitor, but nonetheless, you can actually, through the app, you can watch your dog in the back of the car, or you can access the camera through the app, which is a super neat feature. The app alone can be a video in itself just because it's really neat on your phone. There's never a key. I have a key card, but I don't even use it. I never do. It's really set up for valets. I use the app for everything. I've always got my phone with me anyway. It's a super, super, super neat feature of the car, neat feature of Tesla's, and it's one of those things that you just can't get back. So if I were to touch on anything that I don't like about the car, it's hard to really call out anything. I know that the car burns through tires. I've got almost 17,000 miles on this current vehicle, and I'm probably due for some tires. I get about 50,000 miles on my gas vehicle tires, and I know it's due to the instant torque that you get with the car when you hit the accelerator. It just eats those tires up quickly. They are all-season tires. The Tesla Model Y that I have is an all-wheel drive, so it does great in the snow, which is what I'm currently dealing with now. But I hate the fact that it eats 2 tires so quick, but I know that's an EV thing. Teslas are also pretty heavy. This car alone is almost 3,000 pounds, and it's got such a low center of gravity, which is fantastic for safety, for going around corners, all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, it puts a lot of weight in those tires, and it just kind of burns through them. So I wish it didn't eat up tires. But honestly, outside of that, there is nothing I don't like about this car. I actually love driving it. My wife drove it for the first time in a while yesterday and instantly remembered how much she loves driving it. It's just a fun experience. And I don't have everything from full self-driving to the whole gamut, but I have everything I need. And it's just a great driving experience. So if somebody said, what do you hate about the car? Maybe it's not a Model X. I'd love to have more seats in the back for when we have passengers, stuff like that. But outside of that, it's great. We had 5 people in this car, including a car seat. Everybody was comfortable. Everybody fit in there great. We're out there looking at holiday lights, and it was a fantastic experience as far as I can tell from everybody. At least I haven't opened up the complaint box yet. But nonetheless, 25,000 miles. Absolutely love the car still. I can't wait to see where it goes from here. I love the holiday updates. I love everything that changes about it when they make updates and changes and kind of go from there. So, either way, I really appreciate you guys tuning in for the past few years. I appreciate you guys watching the videos, just kind of experiencing this with me and being able to go on this ride. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic holiday season. I hope you guys are having a fantastic year and that you're able to put a smile on your face. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and stay safe out there.